determined life survivors.
Good morning, everyone. We're in Australia here, so it's morning for us. My name's Connie Triantafillidis, and I'm George's wife.
And my name's George Triantafillidis.
We've got a little bit of a story to tell, and I hope it sort of reflects a little bit on everyone's life and maybe can help someone out there that's been in a situation like us. A few years ago, it was 22nd of September 2017. We went to Greece for a beautiful family holiday. Myself, George, and our daughter Mary. We spent 2.5 weeks there, beautiful weeks, and then we ended up on a little island called Milos. George was very excited. This is the one and only island that he really was looking forward to, and he was planning on a beautiful day out in the yacht. But things went a little bit wrong. This gorgeous beach had this gorgeous restaurant across the road. So he spent the day having a coffee, having another coffee, having some food. And then hours went by and he was still very tired. And then we walked back to our hotel room. All the time sort of feeling a bit tired, but nothing more. And I never thought anything of it because all throughout our lead up into our holiday, George was always being monitored by our doctor. His blood pressure was super, it was fantastic. We had our medication with us. We had all the green thumbs to leave and have this huge plane flight, which was about 24 hours to get to Greece. So we were very confident nothing would go wrong, even though for me it was a big thing because we've never flown that many hours, and I always worried for George because I knew he had a little bit of blood pressure. But I was all confident because everything was okay, even to the last day before we left. So coming back to that first day in Milos, walking back to our hotel room, again, having said that George felt tired, he went to the bathroom, and then my daughter and I, there was a lovely open veranda area there. We were waiting for him to come out. And when he came out, I'll never forget it. And I looked at him and I automatically realized that his lip had dropped, his mouth had dropped. And I said, "Can you feel anything?" He goes, "I can't feel my face." And I thought, oh my goodness, oh my dear Lord Jesus Christ. I thought he is having a stroke. Straight away, I knew he was having a stroke. So I got him to sit on a chair and I could see, he said to me, "I can't feel anything, I can't feel anything." Within minutes, his body on the right side had given up. And at that point, I think it was around 5:15 in the afternoon. At that point, I thought to myself, there's no one around. They were all still in siesta mode. I said to my daughter, quick, Mary, run, get some help from the owners of the hotel. In the meantime, there was no one around. I left Mary with George, who was in panic mode and disorientated. I ran and I went to the platea, which is like an opening of shops and cafes, and there was hardly anyone in sight. When I could ascertain where I was, I quickly ran into a pharmacy and I asked for help. And the lovely young girl behind the counter actually called an ambulance for me. In my mad panic, thank God, I remembered the name and the address of where we were. So within minutes, I was very lucky. We were very blessed that an ambulance came probably within 10 minutes of my raising the alarm. I bolted back to where George was, and in the meantime, my daughter had family owners, so there were a couple of people there that were supporting us. The ambulance was there. They raised him up to the clinic, which I must say, for a little island, was exceptional. There was a very good doctor there and a great nurse, only to tell me what I already knew, that George had suffered a massive stroke. Now, by this time, George was slightly coherent, but very dazed and really confused as to what was kind of happening, but he was relaxed, as opposed to me, who was racing. My mind was racing at the time, and I was in disbelief as to what had actually happened. And what the doctors did there was obviously his blood pressure was sky high. I think it was something like 230 over 110. It was unbelievably high. So they did the right thing. Within minutes of getting there and ascertaining that he actually had a stroke, they tried to bring his blood pressure down as quick as possible, which they did. And in the meantime, my head was racing with what I could do from my side. I mean, I knew I had the professionals there, but were we in the right place at the right time? I don't think so. So I quickly rang our family doctor here in Australia, who also is of Greek background. So at that point, I could get him to speak with the doctor that was treating George, because of course our family doctor knows George and his background. So the two doctors liaised for a good half an hour, and then when I spoke with my doctor again, he just confirmed to me that yes, George has had a stroke and that the doctors there are doing the best thing they can. And at that point, we were going to keep in touch with one another. And he really helped me, and he sort of reassured me that at this point in time, the professionals were dealing with George, and I could see that. But now, by this time, it would have been about 7 in the evening over there. And I was a bit concerned because I thought, this is only a small little island with a little hospital. What more can they do for George? So then the doctor there brought in the head doctor. Finally, we got to Athens. And this is where I know every door seemed to open for us through this huge tragedy of events, being from this total confusion of what had happened to us. Every door opened, and I didn't really find any obstacle along the way, all through my prayer. So when we got to Athens, the ambulance was actually traveling with us and the doctor. We got to and what happens in Greece, a little bit different to what I'd known in Australia, a lot different to what happens in Australia. It was a Friday night, close to midnight, and not every major hospital is open for the weekend. They have a roster system, and a couple of the major hospitals that are scattered throughout Athens will be open. So we had to go to the closest, which would be open. But what that means is that apart from having normal casualty, you have casualty from everywhere in this one area, which almost looks like a war zone. So when we arrived there, here I was thinking I was walking into something that I'd be accustomed to in Australia, but it was so different. It was, as I said, like a war zone. There were people everywhere. There were the corridors were full of stretchers and people and family everywhere. That really scared me, because at this point I thought, I don't really have much control here. We are just another number. So my beautiful cousin was waiting with my daughter outside somewhere. They weren't allowed in. So I was with George, and I was very patient. They knew we were coming. Milos had very nicely sent them a massive report, and they'd spoken with them. But somehow we were lost in this mass chaos, and I waited for half an hour, nearly 40 minutes, and nobody came to see us at all. In the meantime, I'm very patient, and I thought, there's other people here. But when I looked around me within this half an hour, 40 minutes, I thought, hang on a second, this person's injured their wrist, this person's got a stomachache, George has suffered a major stroke. I thought, I've got to jump up and down. I've got to make them aware that we're here with a massive stroke. This needs urgent attention. So within minutes, I thought, that's it. I'm walking up to, there's like a nurse's quarter with some doctors there. I thought, I'm going to have to jump up and down. And that's what I did. I thought, I've got to let them know. In the meantime, one of the doctors turned around, the head doctor turned around and said to me, excuse me, madam, you've got to wait your turn. I said, excuse me? I said, if something happens to my husband, because he's had a massive stroke, and you all know very well we've come from Milos, because I know the doctors have informed you. I said, if he dies here, I said, you will be hearing from me. I will go back to Australia, and I will come with my team of barristers, and we will deal with you. I said, you've got to attend to my husband. I said, he hasn't broken a toe or a hand or a bellyache. I said, he's had a massive stroke. Do you understand? And then within minutes, a very, very nice doctor came, addressed himself. They whisked George away, and they performed a CT scan, only to come back and to confirm exactly what I knew, that George had suffered a major stroke. So throughout those 48 hours, I had this feeling that he was going to make it.
Not this time.
So George contracted C. diff.
Yeah, that's what.
So he contracted C. diff, which every time, I mean, the stroke was one thing, but then because he had all those hurdles to overcome, but then C. diff created another problem, whereby every time George was progressing with trying to get on top of his mind and his body, the C. diff would drag him back, in the sense that he was on 3 different intravenous antibiotics, which after about a week or so, he suffered a massive reaction to. So we had to overcome all of that again, which took probably about 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah,
3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah.
3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And which meant it hindered his progression on being able to do some physio. So it was like 1 step forward, 1 step back, 5 steps forward, 1 step back. But
yeah, there's me. My first time I stood.
That was in YGEIA hospital. That would have been probably around, probably many weeks after. Weeks after.
And I still had that bacteria, so it was all behind closed doors. So no one was allowed in there at all.
Only the family, my daughter and I, and we had to wear protective gowns and face masks, gloves, so we didn't contract the C. diff as well. Yeah, that's just.
It's like
just bringing it
that was
back
my
to
first ever, and it's been a long time since I saw that that video. I trained, but then hey, if I can do it, if I can help someone, see what
brings it back to me now. Yeah. That would have been many weeks.
Yeah.
Many weeks after we got there. Because of course in the beginning George wasn't even able to stand, really. He wasn't even able to move much.
No,
really.
I couldn't.
Yeah. That was towards the end, I think. A month before we left Australia.
Yeah. It's bringing back memories, all right. It's stuff that I don't want to really like to move forward, but then I look at it and I think, well, hey, I did it. And yeah, I can't say much more.
He really is a stroke survivor on many avenues. Yes, they were really nice moments. That was towards the very, very end when we were preparing to come back. That's when George was at his best, actually.
At my best,
he's got a cheeky grin. Oh, yeah.
We got my beautiful
That's
nurse.
when he was back to normal almost. Yeah, you can tell by our smiling faces that we're all in good places there. Yeah, that's for sure. That's one of our beautiful nurses that helped George. Yeah, that was great. we all look at him and we admire him, because not only did he have to overcome the whole sense of what it's like to suffer a stroke, but being able to digest that you are a new being. Some of what you knew in the past, you know very well you can't go back to, especially his love of what he was doing for work, and the markets he used to work through. That had to stop. Maybe we might go back to it at some point, but to realize that your old life, some of it has to stop. Maybe for good, but maybe temporarily. And I feel really proud that George has moved on so well and so confidently that he even tries to give confidence to other stroke victims, not just stroke victims, but other people as well, just with life in general, that, you know, you need to appreciate life, respect life and those around you.
Yep, my name's George Triantafillidis. I became a determined life survivor, life stroke survivor. What else can I say? It was difficult for me, as I've said in the past, but there was a reason why I was sent back down, to share my story and to help others that we're all here. Like, don't be selfish. It can never happen. Within a matter of seconds, it can happen. It happened to me. I didn't think it would happen because I was on proper medication, but I think the brain must have said, you got to slow down. We can't keep up. So, and that's why. So, what it wasn't for my family, the rock. This is.
No, we're all rocks to one another. And I'm Connie Triantafillidis, George's wife, and I am a determined life survivor. And I thank God that we're all healthy, we're all safe. Everything happens for a reason in life. I truly believe this. And I know this is going to sound really weird, but a part of me is actually not glad that George suffered a stroke, but glad that through this whole ordeal, it has made us more faithful. It has made us more loving through kindness, respect to everyone. And I know this is going to sound a little bit odd, but truly love thy neighbour, because we're all human beings, we're all the same, and we're all in the same boat. And it doesn't matter where you come from, where your life's at. This can happen to anyone at any time, at any point, when you least expect it. And when you remember that we're all human beings and we should all love and respect one another, that is enough to pull everything together. And through faith, everything will come together, because people need people.
Times like these, we need to be aware. We need to protect our family and each other, because that's the only way we can change. And change is needed. And every day we gotta tell ourselves that we gotta keep going, we gotta keep living. There's a new reaper in town, and he's coming for you, he's coming for you. Better watch your back, it's time, and he's coming for you, he's coming for you. Oh, it can happen to anyone, it can happen to you. Anytime, any place, he don't need a rendezvous. It's never too late, he'll always find time. Just another burger or a glass of wine, and you begin to choke. It's no laughing matter, this ain't a joke. This is the Reaper's blow. Oh, you It's a new